Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 6:30.
This is News 6 at 6:30, Getting Results. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden. Tonight, the largest school district in Central Florida confirms to News 6 more than 800 teachers have received letters saying they will not be returning to their current positions. Now, we've been hearing from a lot of parents, and just like you, we've seen the reaction on social media. News 6's Catherine Silver asked Orange County Public Schools to explain what's going on.
In April, we started seeing anonymous posts online. My school is cutting my position. This school year was my first as a world language teacher, and my position is now being cut. Are families and local communities aware of what's happening with budget cuts within OCPS? Teachers already feel overworked and stretched thin. These are all posts made to a Facebook group for teachers at Orange County Public Schools, where we're learning more than 800 teachers have received non-reappointment letters informing them their contract will not be renewed next year.
Certainly it's concerning.
Scott Howitt, the Chief Communications Officer for OCPS, says it's also part of the budget process every year. Last year, there were actually 960 non-reappointments.
So year over year, there was less non-reappointments, and almost half of those non-reappointments are temporary contracts. So a lot of them are filling in for, say, a long-term leave type situation where a teacher's out on maternity leave or is having surgery.
I think what a lot of people are trying to suss out and understand is whether there's this feeling that, the bottom's falling out, or if a lot of this is commonplace.
I think that there's a lot of concern around the declining enrollment.
The district expects to lose over 3,000 students next year and $28 million in funding. OCPS is hiring a consultant and paying nearly $1,000 per student to help bring families back to public schools.
That really struck a nerve with people when they hear that the district can spend that kind of money on a consultant, but they wonder why can't it go to other places like our teachers.
They need to look at the contract. The contract is a performance-based contract. So a student generates $8,950 when they're brought back. The consultant would get $935. So the district would net over $8,000 per student. So if you had 1,000 students, that would be able to pay for quite a few teachers.
There seems to be two things going on. There's that decline in enrollment, and then also the district's losing a lot of money that was injected into schools during COVID.
Yes, and two things are impacting the decline in student enrollment is the expansion of the state voucher program. The other part is we've seen declining birth rates, and that's also impacting not just Orange County Public Schools, but a lot of school districts throughout the country.
A representative for the Orange County Classroom Teachers Association also attributed the decline in enrollment to the state's expansion of school vouchers. Also, staff members tell News 6 they just hosted a virtual job fair yesterday, and they expect to have up to 500 vacancies they need to fill for the upcoming school year. Moving from Orange County to Volusia County now, where a legal battle is brewing between a local city and the school district there. Last week, we told you the district wanted to put a new K-8 school on Spring Vista Drive near the intersection of Shell Road in DeBary. But the city says this does not meet criteria needed for their state legal agreement. As News 6's Laverne McGee found out, the district has another nearby location already paid for where they could build.
The city of DeBary issued a letter demanding the school board cease and desist from any further efforts to design, engineer, or construct a school on the Spring Vista property.
This is the piece of land in DeBary that the city says Volusia County Schools cannot legally build on. It's on Spring Vista near Shell Road. The Volusia County School Board is in the process of buying it for around $8 million, wanting to build a school on it. City of DeBary City Manager Carmen Rosamonda says they can't understand why the district is spending taxpayers' money when they've been told they can't build on it. The city says the district can build their new K-8 school close by on a piece of land the district already owns not too far away. It's referred to as the Buckley property site.
We decided to take a drive and see what the distance was between these two pieces of land. It's literally about 1.9 miles, which takes about 5 minutes. They're very close together.
Do you have any idea what the motivation is or what their agenda is? If you're talking about two parcels of land that are a half-mile apart in the same city, in the city of DeBary, in the same county, close to each other, two parcels of land, what would be the motivation for the county school board fighting to have it on that piece of land that's not too far away from the other piece of land?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask them, to be honest with you. Certainly the 48 acres needs fill, but both properties need fill. And so both of them impact 1792. They both have concerns, but unfortunately this one on Spring Vista is not consistent with the plan, and the council has already approved the 48 acres for a school down at that particular location.
We asked Volusia County Schools why they insist on building on a piece of property that the city says is not suitable for a school. We also asked them for an on-camera interview. A spokeswoman told me they could not comment due to possible pending litigation. Laverne McGee, News 6.
Well, the latest drought report released today showing an expansion of extreme drought conditions, but it looks like there is some rain in the forecast, and we have our fingers crossed for that. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now with a look at that drought monitor behind you there, Jonathan. It looks pretty bad.
It does, yeah. It's not been this bad in a long, long time, pushing 10 years. This is the red. That's the extreme drought that has expanded now into the extreme northwest sliver of Orange County. So Tangerine, just outside of town there, pushing mostly into Lake County, the northern half of Volusia. Southern Flagler, that is the change as well, and then encompassing more of central Lake County. One of the other big deals is the fact that we picked up several inches of rain Sunday into Monday in and around Ocala, and you see that orange color. That is an expansion of the severe drought west of town where we were in the moderate drought. So the drought expanded even with picking up 1 to 3 inches of rain on a widespread scale in Marion County. So that just goes to show how dry we are and what it is going to take to get us out of this. We'll talk about how much rain could be coming our way this weekend in a few minutes.
Jonathan, thank you. There appears to be a shakeup in the White House. On News 6 at noon, we told you how National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his deputy Alex Wong will be leaving their positions as soon as today. And now the president is nominating Waltz to be UN ambassador. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will serve as interim National Security Advisor. In March, Waltz put together a chat through the app Signal about a strike in Yemen, a chat that mistakenly included a journalist. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth posted sensitive details about a military operation within that chat group. On Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers were calling for him to go. Well, we have been reporting for months now about Melbourne's plans to close the Daily Bread on May 9th and start building apartments for the homeless, which will take 2 years. James Sparvero is in Brevard County tonight talking with the organization that runs the kitchen, Matthew's Hope Ministries, who is suddenly losing a lot of money to help people who need it most.
So when it's gone, we're not going to have somewhere where we can go get a hot meal or a shower or clothing.
So the fears for some people like Maddie, who I met, they could be realized in just 1 week. And now at the same time, here in Central Brevard, Scott Ballou is challenged too with his services for the homeless. Scott, you just lost one of your top donors?
They had to cut back significantly, mainly due on where we stand, some uncertainty in the marketplaces and in the economy in general. A lot of chaos right now.
You were telling me that 50 grand every month is about 10% of all your cash donations.
Yes.
It's significant.
It's huge. You just don't find 50 grand behind the counter or something.
So Scott's brought me inside now because I want to talk about, Scott, what services are at risk with losing this donation? And you said it's just about everything you do.
It's across the board. We're looking at cutting back in medical care, mental health care, and then we have this is our food pantry. Okay, our shelves used to be full, but you see some shelves that are just completely empty.
So Scott, you have such a beautiful campus. It would be such a shame to see anything cut, I think. I think your staff, you, the people who rely on you to get services would feel the same way. What can people do watching our program right now to help?
I think the first thing I want people to understand is every little bit helps. If you can do something and everybody does a little something, I think we'll see our way out of this.
And before I go, I think there's a way that I can help. So every week when I go to Stories, I take some old clothes with me. And if I pass a Goodwill, depending on what neighborhood I'm in, I donate them. I'm going to give them now to Scott.
This is huge. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, Scott. So we're going to tell you how to get connected with Scott and his team on our website, clickorlando.com. That's where you can help. In Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, News 6.
I love that James did that. Awesome. All right, so let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. Have you heard about this? It's Jeep ducking, or duck duck Jeep. It's when Jeep owners put rubber ducks on another person's Jeep with a positive note. That person, in response, leaves a duck on another car, and so on and so forth. The trend started back in 2020 in Canada. Now, some of you have asked if it's legal. Trooper Steve says it's okay as long as you're not causing damage or trespassing. He also says drivers should be mindful about how many ducks they keep on their dashboard or near the windshield, because anything that obstructs your view can become a safety issue. So keep your ducks in a row. Well, some of the other trending stories right now over on clickorlando.com. A woman from Orange County is suing Disney after she was injured at the Typhoon Lagoon Water Park's kiddie area. She claims she was standing around waiting for her 4-year-old daughter to come down a kiddie slide when she was violently struck by a sudden and forceful wave. The lawsuit claims barriers should have protected her. Disney is now facing a $2 million lawsuit. Also, did you know you can cater your playlist to the type of workout? In a study from Hers, decades-based playlists have a large range of beats per minute. Hip-hop tends to have a higher beat per minute. The study also found Amazon and Spotify have better options than YouTube Music for slower BPMs, if that's your thing. But just keep working out. More news coming up, including the impact the drought is having on Central Florida. Up next, we head to a farm in Claremont, learning to carry on despite the lack of rain. You're watching News 6 at 6:30, live on News 6 Plus. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Thursday evening traffic alert. We're going to see that major shutdown on 2 of our roadways yet again tonight. First one southbound 417 right there at Lee Vista. Everyone southbound pushed off to Lee Vista. Follow the sign. You'll be good to go from there. And then westbound I-4. This happened again last night. It's going to happen again throughout the rest of the week at Kirkman. All your main lines shut down. Everyone comes off of the roadway there for some construction happening at Sand Lake. Follow the detour, and it'll get you back on. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay, so we just saw this map moments ago. Central Florida is facing its worst drought in 8 years, with extreme conditions impacting farms and communities across the region. News 6 content gatherer Jana Manahalal visited Southern Hill Farms in Claremont to see how local growers are coping and what new state legislation could mean for their workers.
Central Florida's dry spell has continued to grow over the last month. Right now, more than half of the state of Florida is experiencing drought-like conditions, with burn bans popping up all over. For local farms like Southern Hill, the dry spell is more than just a weather headline. It's an added daily challenge to keep fruit and flowers stress-free and healthy. But for some, the dry conditions have worked out. Abigail Smizik says she's actually been able to come out and enjoy the farm because of the lack of rain.
I feel so much more able and free to do anything I want, and I don't have to worry about being home by 3. We're done with my activity by 3.
Like Abigail, I too have been able to go outside and enjoy these conditions. But the little guys like these are not quite enjoying those dry and drought conditions. But fortunately, Southern Hill Farms has an irrigation system in place that allows the little guys like these to grow fully. And they taste great. David Hill let me know that even though the farm relies on a mix between drip irrigation and reclaimed water, they still have to work extra hard to keep those plants alive.
We're finding where we have to turn the water on 2-3 times a day during the day because it's so dry. The humidity is low, it's windy, and the plants will want to get to a stress.
When winds and dry conditions mix, it brings large brush fires, which sometimes pop up as close as across the street from the farm, which adds a layer of stress to the team.
You have the stress of trying to get water to your plants if you have access to water. You have the stress of worrying about all the land around you, but just off-site, you can have a fire at the drop of a hat.
As Central Florida waits for rain, these farmers are doing everything they can to weather the dry storm. In Claremont, Jana Manahawal, News 6.
So beautiful out there. And speaking of beautiful, here's a live look now over Daytona Beach. It's been perfect beach days, but we would like to ruin that, at least for the weekend.
Absolutely. And if you have plans to go to the beach this weekend, sorry, it's not going to rain the whole time. It's going to be now your traditional, okay, it's the afternoon.
Yeah.
Let's watch out for some thunderstorms along the coast. Those are going to try to push inland a little bit. So again, it's going to be your routine summer-like day.
Yeah.
Your lawn will thank you.
But they've also had 12 weeks to go to the beach.
Very,
long.
very good point. And that's how we got ourselves into this situation.
Exactly.
Across Central Florida. Again, you saw it there. The extreme drought status has expanded through Central Florida. And now more sunshine continues for the next couple of days. And then once we get to the weekend, that's when we start to change things up a little bit. Here's a live look in Port Canaveral, Brevard County with our Launch Credit Union camera. A few of those puffy heating of the day clouds. As soon as the sun goes down, those clouds will follow. We'll see a mainly clear evening tonight. Nice at the port this evening. We're back to 78 degrees under that mainly sunny sky, especially just inland of the coast. We're at 85 in Groveland and Kissimmee. Good evening. We're at 83. 84 in the Villages. We're back to the upper 70s in Palm Coast. Bunnell, good evening. We're back to 78 degrees as well. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by the Florida Lottery.
We'll start things off in the mid to upper 60s, mainly clear skies overnight. We'll see a few clouds try to bubble up again as soon as the sun comes up tomorrow. Back to the mid to upper 80s to start tomorrow. Some of us get close to 90 again in Groveland. Leesburg, we're back to 90. 91 in Ocala with that breeze still off of the Atlantic. We'll be back into the low to mid 80s. The reason for the breeze off of the water, it's still that area of high pressure. We've been talking about this guy for a while, hanging around Bermuda, and that is continuing to keep our breeze out of the east. That's also going to keep that rip current risk up through the weekend. So as you're dodging thunderstorms, also know that red flag will likely be flying again at the East Coast beaches. Here's 5, 6 o'clock on your Saturday evening. The green starts to pop back up, indicating again the chance for some pop-up thunderstorms along the sea breeze as we get some more moisture. Look at this. We have not seen this, at least in this spot of Central Florida, for a long time. We got a little bit of it, of course, on Sunday into Monday through the I-75 corridor, but some heavier thunderstorms going to be likely as we get towards Sunday afternoon and evening. Same deal again on Monday before we dry things back out again. Decent shot of rain coming down the pipeline again for us as we go from Saturday through late Monday evening. A general 1 to 2 inches of rain. If you get stuck under one of those thunderstorms that I just showed you there on the computer forecast, you might be able to double or triple that. I would not be surprised if some people, especially in between I-4 and I-75, I-95, I should say, towards the Atlantic beaches, come away with 3, 4, 5 inches out of the deal. So again, we're going to be watching that Sunday into Monday. 40% shot for rain on Saturday. That goes up to 60% on Sunday. No doubt the best chance for rain. We're going to keep high rain chances rolling, though, through the start of the new work week. 30% chance for rain even on Tuesday, Ginger.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, this morning, meteorologists Michelle Morgan and David Nazario went to an emergency preparedness event called Good Morning Seminole, hosted by the Seminole County Chamber. It was at the Lake Mary Event Center. Michelle was a guest speaker and also part of a panel discussing the upcoming hurricane season alongside Alan Harris, Seminole County's Emergency Management Director. Very important information as we approach another hurricane season. Well, the countdown is on. Less than 1 month until Epic Universe officially opens. And while many are excited, there is one neighborhood getting ready in a different way. News 6's Matt Austin visited Tangelo Park, where the increased traffic could cause some major issues for people who live there.
It's time to wake up and realize what you're doing.
In 2019, neighbors expressed two main concerns about Epic Universe:
The road isn't designed to solve our problem.
traffic and
gentrification.
So I went to Tangelo Park to see if their fears came to fruition.
And I think first time I came here, I was about 20 years old.
Robert Dubose has 40 years worth of roots in Tangelo. He says the biggest issue today, the traffic on Mandarin Drive.
In the morning, you can't hardly go down the main street. And in the evening, when they get off work, you can't hardly go up the street.
So here's the lay of the land. Tangelo Park is sandwiched between the Turnpike, Kirkman Road, and Epic Universe is right across Sand Lake Road to the south. Neighbors tell me employees are avoiding traffic on Kirkman and International Drive by cutting right through the middle of the neighborhood on Mandarin. Adam Sutton lives right there.
Tell me what it's like living on this road right now.
Oh yeah, it's been sort of busy, like getting in and out.
Yeah.
It stay busy all the time.
While we were visiting this small community, our camera spotted a big semi. Traffic was thick, even though it wasn't even rush hour. Commissioner Mike Scott oversees District 6.
Is there anything that can be done to try to alleviate that traffic?
So we've put signage. We were maybe, I'd say more than 50% done with some of the roadway improvements. So I think once a lot of the construction is done on Kirkman and they start to get the routes in place, I think we'll see a lot less congestion. I mean, traffic is going to increase for sure.
As for the other issue, gentrification, well, every neighbor I spoke with said they get constant offers from people trying to buy their houses.
They wanted to buy your house?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people in here are getting offers.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
No.
You're not selling?
No.
They're offering money for people to move out.
Are you seeing that?
Oh yeah, I get letters all the time, like these. They want to buy the property.
For now, the small neighborhood in the shadow of a massive theme park lives on. The question is, how much longer can it last?
This church, my house and my neighborhood is important to me and my friends. Although a lot of them are leaving because I don't blame them. People gonna give them enough money to move somewhere else.
Well, it may be known as the coaster capital of Orlando. Now, a new kind of thrill at SeaWorld Orlando is taking guests to new heights. News 6 got to experience Expedition Odyssey, SeaWorld's first of its kind flying theater attraction, part of the Wild Arctic exhibit. A visual spectacle full of real-world footage. Riders will soar above the Arctic landscape, see wildlife, and even dive underwater.
So we're starting, right? So now we're going to transition into the Arctic. We're going up this mountain, right? Yeah. It's beautiful. It's vast. It's cold. The wind is picking up. It's chilly in here in the building, which is great for Florida. It's a little warm.
Especially in the summer, in July, of course.
It's a great escape. And then we're going to dive down. This is where we're going to pick up the excitement. Dive down this mountain. The wind's picking up. It's so cool.
Oh my God.
Well, the wait's almost over. Expedition Odyssey opens May 9th. And you can get updates on everything Epic Universe, Universal, Disney World, and all over Central Florida, all of the theme parks, and our In the Loop Theme Park Scoops newsletter. Our theme park expert, Haley Coombs, sends them right to your inbox every Friday morning. Just head to clickorlando.com/newsletters to subscribe. We'll be right back.
I'm News 6 anchor Justin Moorman.
And I'm News 6 anchor Crystal Moyer. Coming up in the morning, keeping people safe along the coast.
Yeah, how lifeguards, first responders, and hospitals are teaming up for a special training session as we head into summer.
And people heading to the beach may have to deal with some rain by the end of the week.
We'll have your updated forecast every 10 minutes. We'll see you on News 6 Mornings starting at 5.
We're in Florida, so sunscreen is essential pretty much daily. Before I head out on a story, I usually use some powder sunscreen on my face and spray some on my arms, but which ones are most effective? I'm News 6 anchor Crystal Moyer, and in today's Insider, Consumer Reports puts 100 products to the test.
We found major performance differences among sunscreens, even those that came from the same brand. And in some cases in CR's tests, the protection offered didn't match the SPF that's listed on the label.
Experts recommend using sunscreen with at least SPF 30, but it's not just about the number. For full protection, you need one that's labeled broad spectrum. That means it shields your skin against both UVA and UVB rays.
UVB rays primarily cause sunburn. UVA rays contribute to premature skin aging. Both types contribute to the risk of skin cancer.
To evaluate SPF, the measure of how well a sunscreen shields against UVB rays in water-resistant sunscreens, testers apply sunscreen to small sections of panelists' backs. After a soak in a tub, those areas are exposed to simulated sunlight. The next day, trained experts carefully examine the skin for signs of redness. The testing for non-water-resistant sunscreens involved the same steps except for water immersion. For UVA protection, sunscreen is applied to plastic plates, which are then exposed to UV light. Instruments measure how much of the harmful rays are absorbed, giving a clear picture of how well the product protects. This year, Coppertone Water Babies Lotion SPF 50 stood out amongst lotions, earning high marks in both UVA protection and SPF performance. And if you prefer a spray, Eucerin Advanced Hydration Spray SPF 50 came out on top. Keep in mind, sunscreen is only effective if used properly. On clickorlando.com/insider, I posted how much you should use and how often you should reapply. I also posted Consumer Reports' top sunscreens of 2025. Crystal Moyer, News 6.
Just slather it on.
Do it.
Because you're going to sweat it right off.
It's crazy.
And then you have to reapply it.
Always.
You're a sunscreen wearer, right?
Oh my gosh. I'm
Will you burst into flames if you don't have it?
hat and layers out when it's 95 degrees because that will burn to a crisp.
I look like a beekeeper. I cover everything. I don't care. All right. Thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app. Remember, we break news on clickorlando.com. We'll see you back here again tonight at 11. Good night.
Facial paralysis is a side effect of many health issues, and it can linger long after the initial cause. But now, through facial reanimation surgery, patients are getting their smiles back thanks to Orlando Health. Joining us now to discuss is Dr. Yuri Kiefer from the Orlando Health Aesthetic and Reconstructive Surgery Institute. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of people probably know about facial paralysis after a stroke or from Bell's palsy. What else can cause this?
That's right. It's the most common cranial nerve lesion that we have, and mainly associated with Bell's palsy, an idiopathic cause. But it can also be due to a traumatic injury or a cancer-related treatment, or even due to the cancer itself. The facial nerve travels through the back of our skull into our parotid gland, and therefore is exposed to different cancers within the skull of the base as well as on the parotid gland itself.
You are actually one of a handful of people in this country who specialize in something called facial reanimation surgery. This blows my mind. You can actually transplant nerves and muscles to help people be able to accurately express their emotions again. How does this work?
Nowadays, we are fortunate to have all kinds of tools that help us to identify small nerves and reconnect them. In most cases, we can give the existing muscles a new motor, meaning a new nerve, which we borrow from other parts of their body, from the other side of the face, or from other cranial nerves. By doing this, we can, in most cases, reinnovate the existing muscles. If, however, they come later because they never heard of it or never heard of the options there are out there to treat facial palsy, we can, as you mentioned, transplant muscles from basically the thigh to the mid-face to enable the patient to smile again or to be able to blink their eye again.
You're just doing such incredible work and changing lives out there. I'm sure you have some success stories that just really touch your heart.
That's very true. It's a very humbling experience to help those patients in all forms and sorts of their life, whether it's a kid that finally smiles or it's an elderly patient who is suffering from their previous condition, and I was just happy to be able to drink their tea without any problems anymore, or just leave without any patches on their eyes. The stories are numerous, and I'm very grateful that we can now offer this service line at Orlando Health.
It's another reason to choose well with Orlando Health. And if you would like more information, you can visit orlandohealth.com/facial-reanimation.